The Joe Rogan Experience.
I haven't done it. I haven't traveled to England since the whole Brexit thing has been going on.
I did. I went through touring, and it should have just been like, just hop on a plane to go to your other countries.
Now you got to go through customs.
You're just stuck in customs, hoping someone comes for you.
I don't know enough about the arguments pro and con to comment on it, honestly.
Well, and it truly doesn't matter because we don't have a vote in it.
But I know the dude looks like a British version of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He looks like he's got fucked up yellow hair, the whole deal. He literally looks like their version of Trump.
Like a wonkier, if it's possible,
a younger
version.
Wonkier Trump.
A hotter.
He's a little hotter. A little bit.
They say America sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold.
Oh,
you know, like we do something, people will start to.
Imagine if dudes with fucked up blonde hair just start taking over the world.
I feel like that was Hitler's vision. Like, I feel like that's where they were headed.
That was, right?
Right?
What was crazy was like Hitler didn't look like that.
Brown hair. I think he even had like a Jewish grandma, brown eyes. Every Jew knows this.
He had a Jewish grandma?
I think it's something like that.
Look at that guy. Come on. What in
He
the
looks
fuck?
like Harry
Actually,
from Dumb and Dumber.
I take it away. He's not hotter. He's just younger. When Trump was younger, he was way hotter than that dude.
No, that guy's terrible. Terrible looking.
Yeah.
But
saw a lot of Trump supporters this weekend. Colby Covington was fighting in the UFC, and he's a big Trump supporter.
You know what? I got to say this. This is not pro-Trump, but this is pro your own rights. We have this thing in California. I said something. I was in a writer's room, and I said something about someone who I knew that voted for my family that voted for Donald Trump. And someone was like, someone in your family voted for Donald Trump? Do you still speak to them? And I was like, don't get hyphy with me. This idea that you can't, I understand he represents all these horrible things, but we have to be able to have conversations in this country and on both sides and other liberals at times. And I say this as a person who's fairly liberal, it's terrifying. Yeah. Just attacking your own allies and creating no space for a conversation.
Well, liberals used to be, when I was a kid, and my parents are hippies, and we lived in San Francisco when I was a little kid. And so I always thought of liberals as being the people that were like open-minded, you know, not wanting to silence people, letting people speak. They're all about people just being who they are, and not trying to enforce like rigid patterns of behavior and thought on people. But that's not the case now because they think they're doing the right thing because they think they're combating something that's awful and aggressive and regressive. You know, that's something that is, they feel like the country that they know and love is slipping away. But
so do the conservatives. So does everyone.
Exactly. But the response to it is not the right way to go about it.
No.
The response to it is to show a great example of what your ideology represents by being a good person, by being open-minded, by being kind. Instead, people are being super, super shitty. There's so many super shitty people that think they're doing the right thing because they're progressive, and though they want good things. They want gay rights, and they want racial equality, and they want people to be able to make more money, and they want people to be happy and healthy.
Attacking anyone who from the get-go doesn't agree with you, because by the way, if you and I disagree and you calmly want to have a conversation with me, I am very open to having my mind change. Of course I want to be on the right side and I want to do the best thing. If you yell at me and you call me stupid, you call me and you're attacking me and you're on the defense from the get-go, you're on the offense from the get-go, but just as a person with pride, you're going to want to be like, you know what? I don't want to hear it, and fuck you, because you represent now all the good intentions. Like, you're the representative of all that, and I don't like you. Yeah. So you are, you're an ambassador for your cause when you speak. I'm really into the environment and plastic and stuff like that, and I am very specific about how and when I post about things, because you don't want people to get activism fatigue, and you don't want to be the person who posts about everything, because then no one will listen to anything. Right. And you don't want to call people out specifically because just because somebody carried a plastic bottle that day doesn't mean they don't drive a hybrid. You don't know what people are doing.
Right. Did you see Chris Pratt got shamed?
That's literally what I'm thinking of. And while I love that he did that, part of me is like, that's a little holier than thou.
Who shamed him?
Jason Momoa is so fucking hot. He's so hot. He's so hot. But we're so, especially online, we're so quick to be like, you're not doing it right. We do it with feminism too. And you have no idea the pious, good life that person is leading, and you're judging them on a snapshot on which you don't want to be judged on.
Well, they want to judge people. The thing is it's a lot of what this is about people that are on the fringes. It's the ideas are great, right? But the people that want attention for espousing these great ideas oftentimes are the fringe. So the far left and the far right. A lot of it, what it is It's just people that are ultra aggressive about enforcing their ideology, and then they're really shitty and they want other people to comply. And so you get these people that represent the right and these people that represent the left, but they're a lot of the ideas of the right and the left. There's nothing wrong with being fiscally conservative. There's nothing wrong with being
which is
socially
what a true
liberal.
Republican is.
Right.
And you want less government in your money.
But there's room in there for conversation. But when you go far right and then you go far left, then there's no room.
And when you
Because
start
those are the
vilifying
fringe
people.
Yeah.
From the get-go, and when you start expecting people, Owen Benjamin, who is just basically is like in a tinfoil hat somewhere and like living off the grid, he offended a lot of people, right? You're just staring at me?
Yeah. No, I'm listening to you.
And he said a bunch of stuff about trans stuff. And I remember there was this girl that I was friends with on social media, didn't know her, but just followed her because I liked her writing. That's it. And she DMs me one day and she's like, Owen Benjamin, like, how could you be, like, maybe I don't know if I'd interacted with him on Twitter. I'm never on Twitter because I think it's a toxic fuckhole. And she was like, she's getting mad at me. And I go, what are you talking about? She was like, he said all this stuff that's anti-trans, and I hadn't heard anything.
But let me say what he said,
Yeah.
okay? And here's the thing. He went off into a spiral, right? But I agree with what he said. What he said was there was someone that he knew, someone who works in Hollywood, that had a 3-year-old that they were turning trans.
Right.
And he said that was child abuse. That was what led
I don't disagree
to
with
his
that.
crazy situation.
Totally. This is.
I agree with it 100%.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I agree with him.
It's a child.
100%.
You wouldn't let that child decide what it's eating.
Right.
So that's
Someone
very
had a
powerful.
great joke. You don't let. I always say this. I wish I could remember who it was. They said you don't let a kid pick their outfit. Why the fuck would you let them pick their gender
Sounds
for the
just
rest
like
of
the
their
joke
life?
I just made.
Yeah, but it's somebody did it already.
Right. I'm not going to do the joke. But so that aside, and the spiral aside, which I didn't even participate. Like, it's whatever. Like, those are your choices. That's what you're saying. I had known
But
none of this.
here's the thing. That cost him dearly. His agency left him, and then comedy clubs banned him for that. That was the
I
beginning.
think he
of
just
it.
steered into that skid.
Well, that's what started the skid.
Right.
What started the
I
skid
think
was
there was
that.
something else about, like, he called someone who had written a. Look, that's not the point of what I was saying.
Things went south afterwards.
You have to
for
manage
sure.
those things. My point was, I knew none of this. So I'm just like going to brunch one day, and this person starts attacking me offline. How can you be friends with him? And I go, whoa, what are you talking about? She's like, he's saying all these horrible things. And
She's attacking you in person?
She's in my like direct message.
Oh.
And this is my only point is I said, I've known Owen most of my career. Let me go read what you're talking about. And she was angry at me for wanting to gather information. This person is a trans writer who I literally until that moment didn't know was trans because I was just a fan based on merit. Like I just liked the writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how dare you? Shame on you. As a journalist, you should applaud that I go and collect my facts.
They want compliance, like immediate, instantaneous compliance.
And I said, I'm an ally and I am pro-trans and I am pro-gay rights, but you do not get to bark at me on a Sunday morning when I have no idea what we're talking about and get mad at me. And I
just have to tell you, I
unfollowed.
don't trust anyone who says they're an ally about anything.
I'm a total
Once
ally.
But you say that, if you say, I'm an ally.
I'm an ally.
I'm
You think I'm anti-trans?
not buying it. Not buying it.
I vote
That
and
chick
I
hates Mrs. Doubtfire. That's a little of an ally she is. Just the term ally is gross. It's okay when other people use it, like he's an ally, that guy's an ally, she's an ally. I get that. That's a good way to use it. But when you say I'm an ally, I'm like, nah.
Okay.
Not buying
well,
it.
I'm pro-trans.
Good for you.
And I blocked that person. I was like, you don't get to bark at me and tell me for any cause.
Yeah.
Too
many fucking people live on Twitter. It's not good. It's not healthy, folks.
I don't
You're
have it on
supposed
my
to
phone.
talk to people.
Twitter it's
Good for
become
you.
like a subway bathroom wall.
Yeah.
Like people just
Michelle
write.
Wolf told me the exact same thing last week. She doesn't have it on her phone. She's like,
Because you're just screaming into a void, and all it does is it just nets negativity. So they're just waiting for you to fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, anybody who's ever said anything awful to me on Twitter, who I've seen in person, they say nothing. And I'm
well, that's the only way people should talk.
Is face to face.
Yeah, Louis C.K. said that to me. We were talking about this, and he said it's just talk, but it's written down, so people think it's like more than it is.